welcome to Life Talk. It's Friday, July 21st, 2017, and I'm Mark Crutcher.
And I'm Renee Hobbs. Thanks for joining us, and happy Friday.
Happy Friday? Is that an official, like, it is for you?
It is. It's a happy Friday.
Yeah. Everybody around here gets real excited on Fridays, believe me. Anyway, we got a lot of stuff to talk about today, like we did yesterday. Our show yesterday, we got a lot of information, a lot of interest from people.
It did. It did well.
Anyway, I think this one's going to be even better. But first off, before we get started, we've got an update on the Charlie Gard situation. This is the little boy in England who has a pretty serious disease, who American doctors are saying they can help, but the British authorities say this baby cannot come here. He can't go home. The parents can't do anything for him. They're literally executing this boy, slow motion.
He is stuck at the hospital and waiting just to die in the hospital, basically. But they went to court today, and an American doctor did an MRI on him up there, and apparently it doesn't look too well. So the judge is saying that if he wants evidence that Charlie can come to the United States with the $1.7 million that his parents have raised, and that he's going to live. Other than that, it doesn't look too promising, but we can all keep Charlie and his parents in our prayers, that they won't keep him hostage. If they see absolutely no hope in him, at least let the baby go home to be with the parents. At least do that.
And they're not even going to do that?
They're not even going to do that. It is so sad.
This is the most unbelievable situation I've ever seen. And again, I go back to what we said before. Let's just say that even the best projection is by doctors on our side of the deal, that he's got a 1 in 10,000 chance of making it, right? Why not take it? What have you got to lose?
Exactly.
This baby is in the process of what I said a moment ago. This is a slow motion execution.
Yeah.
It is. By England.
He's been in the hospital since April with really no treatment whatsoever. So he's just really dying a slow death, which is sad, when he could come here and try to get the help that he needs. But there's going to be more things coming out on Monday with the doctor and the court hearings. But
I think these people, and you said earlier, you told me that his mother stormed out of the courtroom hollering evil or something.
Well, after the MRI came back and they said that it looked sad, she stormed out, and the father looked at the lawyer and said evil, whispered evil to him.
Yeah. And that's what this is. I don't care what they say. The legal authorities in England that are executing this baby in slow motion are pathologically evil. They've got nothing to lose. No one has anything to lose.
Yeah.
They've raised the money. The parents want to do it. The baby may only have a 1 chance in 10,000, but that's better than no chance in 10,000.
Yeah.
What has anybody got to lose by helping this baby?
Pride.
That's the bottom line right there.
Pride.
That's the bottom line.
Yep.
Anyway, it's a sad deal. We'll keep you posted as we get new information. You've been talking to the person that's actually going to the trial. Is that correct?
Yeah, I talked to Catherine Foster not yesterday, the day before, about this.
Yeah, so she's kind of keeping us posted on what's going on, and when we get information, we'll bring it along to you. Now, we're going to take a break here for a little spot that we premiered yesterday with Renee in it. She's now a superstar in the commercial world as well. And but anyway, we're going to take a break for that little spot, and when we come back, we've got a very special guest to talk about something that's going on here in the United States that's pretty outrageous itself. We'll be right back.
Hi, have you seen this pen? It's really neat, and people all over America are using them to show their support for the pro-life cause. They're available from Life Dynamics for $5, but because you're a Life Talk viewer, I'm going to make you an offer you can't resist. If you don't already have one of these pens, go to lifedynamics.com/prolifepen. Then when you check out, use the promo code at the bottom of the screen, and I'll send you one of these pens as my gift. I'll even pay the postage. If you prefer, you can also order by phone at area code 940-380-8800. Now you can't beat that price, right? So order yours today and make sure all of your pro-life friends get one for themselves. Again, go to lifedynamics.com/prolifepin and use a promo code below or call 940-380-8800.
Okay, we're back. You know, I get really discouraged sometimes when we started putting out MAFA 21. We hear people say, and I still hear people say it occasionally, well, that eugenics movement, that was, you know.
That was back 100, 150 years ago. Many, yeah.
Right.
It doesn't exist today.
When in reality, nothing could be further from the truth.
Yeah. We have evidence of that today.
We got some more evidence of it just today that came out.
Yep.
Joining us from her home is Elaine Roddick, who is one of the stars of MAFA 21.
Yes.
And hello, Elaine. How are you?
I am fine, thank you.
And you're at home right now in Georgia, is that right?
Yes, I am.
That's a girl. Well, you know that you're one of the stars of MAFA 21, don't you? You realize that.
She's like me. You're humbling yourself, Elaine. You are a star.
Yep. Your segment probably gets as much commentary to us as any other segment in the show. Matter of fact, it may get more than any other segment in the show. A lot of people are really taken by your story. And basically, just to bring people up to date, you were raped. Wait, you were 13 years old, is that right, Elaine?
Yes, 13.
And you got pregnant, and you had
my son at 14. Went in the hospital to give birth to my son, and at the same time, while giving birth, actually they delivered my baby by cesarean birth. And while they had me cut open, gutted open, they went inside of me and they sterilized me. Yep. I didn't find out until I was 19 years of age that they had did that to me at such young age of 14.
And what we were able to document through MAFA 21 is that this was a very common situation, and especially to happen to young African Americans, much more so than any other demographic group in America. And people have a hard time realizing this, but 31 states in the United States had eugenics boards, state eugenics boards, and they were doing these sort of things, sometimes forced sterilization, sometimes sterilizations like what they did on Elaine here, where she didn't even know about it.
Are there still eugenic boards?
There's not. The last eugenics board was in 1984, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was in Oregon, but they were into the 1980s. The first one was in Indianapolis. Mm-hmm. I mean in Indiana, and hundreds of thousands of people like Elaine were sterilized or forced to have abortions or forced into situations where they could be guaranteed of never having children. Mm-hmm. And there was even, and this kind of relates to what we're going to talk about today, this even extended to the point that some states were requiring that prisoners could get let out of jail early if they would agree to be sterilized. And you think, well, that's barbaric and that would never happen. It's happening today.
Yes, it is.
A new report just came out from White County, Tennessee, that they are offering inmates 30 days off of their sentence.
That's it.
If they'll agree to be sterilized.
Yeah.
Did you
both men and women?
Men
both.
and women. Did you read about that, Elaine?
Yes, I did. And oh my God, these are crimes against humanity that these people are trying to pull off. And my thoughts on this is that even after North Carolina and the other 31 states that sterilize young boys and young girls, this is what it is. These are sterilization procedures that are still going on, and the jails are willing, Tennessee jail, county jail, is willing to give their people 30 days to commit to being sterilized. I mean, who in the world would take 30 days? They have no idea what is happening to them. And, of course, they don't explain to them what this procedure is.
But if you're yes.
Frustration.
But, Elaine, if you're a frightened 17, 18, 19-year-old in jail for the first time and surrounded by a bunch of people that you have to fear 24/7, right?
Right.
If you're in that situation and somebody comes to you and you're not thinking about 10 years down the
Future,
road or 20
yeah.
years. You're thinking about today.
Right, having children down the road and
Right.
a wife and
Kids.
yeah.
So somebody comes to you and you're a frightened 17, 18-year-old girl who's been picked up for marijuana possession or whatever it might be, and you're sitting in there with these kind of people and they say, look, let us sterilize you and we'll let you out 30 days early. That's going to look pretty attractive.
Yeah.
And they're not going to think about what's going to happen 10 years from now.
With nobody there to explain the repercussion of that, except for you can get out 30 days early.
Right.
Big deal.
And Elaine here is a classic example of that. Elaine, can you kind of, we talked about this in the movie Ma for 21, just give people a short view of what it was like to find out at 19 years old that you had been sterilized and would never have a child again.
First of all, I was devastated because someone had came to my grandmother and coerced her. This is the same thing that's going on right here. They are coercing these young children and these people, these inmates, to become sterilized or castrated. What they don't understand, what people really need to understand is how that procedure works. What happened, the side effects. I bled for 17 days out of a month when this happened to me. 17 days out of a month. I mean, I was in such pain. I never had a childhood. I was I became catatonic, after I found out at 19 what had happened to me. I was so devastated that I wanted to die. I was afraid to look people in the eye because I felt like I had did something wrong. And I carried the guilt was so deep, and I carried it for so long until I am still trying to deal with it. At that young age of 17, 15, 16, whatever, you should have a life, and these procedures take your life away.
It's amazing. And the thing that's so frustrating and aggravating about this is when we did we do this movie Ma for 21, and basically what we showed in the movie was that the origin of legalized abortion was not women's rights or reproductive freedom or choice or any of this sales and marketing tricks that the abortion industry uses. The goal of legalizing abortion was eugenics. It was to eradicate the minority community in America, at that time primarily blacks, but now they've moved on into the Hispanic community, just as strong as they were ever in the black community. But that was the origin of legalized abortion in this country, was the eugenics movement. And it's so frustrating, and I know you come across this, Elaine, because I see you out speaking all the time about this, that people think the eugenics movement ended years ago. It's still going on today. When you have people that are doing this, that are still saying, hey, let us sterilize you and we'll let you out of jail, you know. Or you have people like Bill and Melinda Gates and Warren Buffett and George Soros and Ted Turner and all these people pouring literally not millions of dollars, billions of dollars into promoting birth control and abortion to people who do not want it, into countries that do not want it. I mean, to suggest that the eugenics movement died out years ago is just an out-and-out lie. It did not. It is still there today. Is that what your take on it is, Elaine?
The eugenics is stronger than ever before.
Right.
There are many more of them as there were before. Like you said, you have all these organizations pouring in these monies. I mean, and here's another thing that people don't understand is the female genital castration. Have you ever seen that before?
No.
In New York, in California, in Detroit, they are castrating, they are mutilating the female vagina. And people are not talking about these things that needs to be talked about. It needs to be out there, and they need to talk about these things. Yes, Bill and Melinda Gates are putting $1 billion into this, you know, and they're not telling you about these side effects. To cut a female down there open or take something out or sew her up, these are crimes against humanity again. And
But Elaine, let me say something here. I don't care if there were no side effects. It's a crime against humanity just to do this Even if there were no side effects, if the only result of it was that you couldn't get pregnant again for the rest of your life, that's still a crime against humanity, even without the side effects.
Yes, it is. Every person deserves the right to their reproductive bodies. When you take this away from a woman or a man, like you say, 10 years down the road, he might or she might meet somebody, fall in love, and want to have children.
Yep.
But you took that right away from them to live productive lives here. No, this is not right.
No, it's not.
And of course, again, getting back to the inmate story, these people are going to want to get out. 30 days, that sounds great. Who wants to stay locked up? So 30 days off, 32, I think it was 38 men are waiting in line to become castrated now. 32 women, they have already had the implant, which causes sterilization.
And again, this is not something that happened 50 years ago. This is today. This is July 21st, 2017. This article comes out, White County, Tennessee. They're doing this right now as we speak. And I think something else that needs to be understood here. The biggest purveyor of eugenics in the world is Planned Parenthood. And the United States government is giving Planned Parenthood $1.5 million a day, 365 days a year. Right now, it's $1.5 million a day. And when Hillary Clinton was running for president, she said in one of her speeches that she wanted to double the funding to Planned Parenthood. When she was asked if she would cut off funding, she says, no, I want to double the funding. So that they want to give $3 million a day to this. This is eugenics, pure and simple. And if you don't think Planned Parenthood was involved in this, one of the states that we looked at when we were researching for MAFA 21 was Arkansas, because we found out that in Arkansas, the state eugenics board, before it was disbanded, was actually operated by Planned Parenthood. It was in the same building, in the exact same location, run by the exact same people. And so Planned Parenthood has been mixed up in this since day one, and they still are, and they're the ones who get all this money from these people like George Soros and Warren Buffett and Bill and Melinda Gates.
I'm just thankful that the district attorney, Bryant Dunaway, is against what's going on there in Tennessee, and that he is going to fight for justice for these kids, these people that are inmates.
Yeah, because it's an obscenity, because like we said a moment ago, you take some hapless 17, 18-year-old kid that may be in there for a fairly minor deal. You go to him and say, we'll give you 30 days off, or you tell her, we'll give you 30 days off your sentence. If you're having to live through that hell right there, 30 days might as well be 30 years, right? Mm-hmm. So you're going to jump at that, and you're not even going to think about the consequences of it down the road. Right. So you take an 18-year-old girl and you give her 30 days off her sentence to sterilize her, and like Elaine says, what if 2 years from now she meets the man of her dreams, she wants to get married and they want to have kids?
Right.
Now what?
It's not going to happen.
That played out in your life, did it not, Elaine?
Oh, yeah. Yes. I married this guy, and wow, he was British, and when he found out that I couldn't have children, oh my God. We ended up, he tried to kill me and called me a waste, took a hammer to me. You know, it was devastating.
Yes, I know it was. And you and I have talked about this several times, and it's a pretty sad situation, Elaine, and we all have sympathy for your situation. But the thing we need to understand too is that yours is not a unique situation. There were hundreds of thousands of women and young girls. We found examples of this being done to girls as young as 10, because we found places and boys. We found places where people that were on what was called public assistance or welfare at the time were told, we're going to take your public assistance away if you're not sterilized and you don't bring your children in to be sterilized. And if you didn't bring your 10 or 12-year-old kid, boy or girl, in to be sterilized, you lost your public assistance.
That's sad.
Now,
you can't live without that.
We say that how horrible that is, and it is sad. It's not any worse than what's happening right here in Tennessee today. Right here. And the people that did this, even if they back off now and say, okay, never mind, it was a bad idea, they ought to be tried. There ought to be some crime that
That's right.
they made an attempt to do this. if somebody attempts to murder you and they fail, we still try them for attempted murder, right? Well, whatever they attempted to do here, they should be put on trial for it. They need to be made an example of. I'm hoping that's what will happen from this. But in any way, Elaine, I appreciate your coming on at such short notice.
That's fine.
And I know this. Go ahead.
I would like to say one thing that I came across, which is the worst thing, and about the aborted babies born alive. And it just tears my heart out to see how these doctors and nurses are just putting the babies in a bowl, screaming, and just letting them die.
Right.
That is the most devastating thing that I've ever come across. How can you do this? How can you sit there and let a baby scream that you attempted to kill, just put it in a pan and just watch it scream?
Well, Elaine, did you watch our video with the interview of the 3 girls in Houston that Renee and I interviewed?
No, I didn't get to see that one.
Okay. As soon as we're done here, I want you to go to YouTube, and anybody out there watching can do the same thing. Go to YouTube, and under their search function, could put on there Babies Born Alive Daily. Babies Born Alive Daily. And you will go to that video, and you'll see an interview with 3 women that Renee and I went to Houston and interviewed. They worked at a late-term abortion mill in the city of Houston. And you will be sickened by what you see there. But this is going on all over the United States every day, and this is what happens when you legalize abortion. This is what you get. But again, Elaine, I thank you for joining us today. And
you're welcome anytime.
Once you've seen that video, we'd like to hear back from you. If you call Renee and I back, we'd like to talk to you about it.
I sure will.
Thanks, Elaine.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us, Elaine.
You're more than welcome.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That was a depressing show.
It's not really. We can't have uplifting shows every time.
No, and we normally don't. But
the other thing I want to remind people to do is to go to prolifeamerica.com and look under reports and projects and read the Racial Targeting and Population Control Report. It's this report, but you can read it online for free. Doesn't cost anything.
It's very revealing.
Very revealing. If you think the eugenics movement ended sometime in the past, think again. Think again. This will prove to you what's going on. And it proves it to you in black and white figures that are not our figures. These figures come from the United States government.
Yep.
The eugenics movement is alive and well in the United States. And it's not just this situation in Tennessee. This is all over the country, everywhere.
Yep.
And anyway,
so,
anything?
Yeah, just any questions, comments, suggestions for us to talk about on the show, we would love to hear them.
Hear back from you.
Send them my way. You can email me or call, whatever, however you want to get in touch with me.
Smoke signal.
Private message.
Smoke signal.
Smoke signal, as Mark would say, because he has a flip phone. Hey, we talked about my animals the other day. I'm talking about your flip phone today.
Okay, I still got a flip phone. Listen. All I want a phone to do. Now, I know I'm old and crudmudgeon and worn out and half dead, 1 foot on the banana peel, 1 foot in the grave, that sort of thing that y'all always accuse me of. But, all I want from a phone
to be able to dial out
is when I call somebody, they answer on the other end, or if they call me, I answer on this end and we talk.
He doesn't want the mothership.
I'm not trying to connect with the mothership. I don't care about surfing the web. I'm not trying to make contact with any intergalactic travelers or any of that kind of stuff. All I want my phone to do is to make a phone call. I want to call somebody on it, and I want them to be able to call me. That's it. So they laugh at me because I'm still one of the only 8 people in the United States that still have a flip phone, but it still works just fine. Does it not? When you try to call me, it works, right?
Actually, you've been complaining a little bit
about it. Well, I've been
it.
having some problems lately.
You might need to get a new one.
Might need to get
a new flip phone.
New flip.
Anyways, y'all have a good weekend.
Yes, and we will see you Monday. Until then, remember, Life Dynamics is not here to put up a good fight. We're here to win, because winning is how the killing stops. We'll see you Monday.